So I'm on LinkedIn multiple times a day, and I come across posts all the time of people trying to break into tech sales right now. And I keep seeing the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it's not even necessarily that they're deal breakers, but they're definitely making your job search, your career pivot, your like next career move harder than it needs to be. And I wanted to talk about that. There are actually a few people on LinkedIn right now who have either reached out to me or I've reached out to after seeing their posts saying they're looking for a new job in tech sales. And I talked to them about their process and what are they doing. I had one person like send me an email that he had sent to a hiring manager so I could like look at it and that sort of thing. And anywho, I want to talk through the mistakes that I'm seeing people make. So let's jump right on into it. The first one is changing too much all at once about your job. Okay. So one of the like cardinal rules in job changes is that you change one thing at a time. So, for example, change your role, change your industry, but don't change both at the same time. For example, if you are a teacher and you're looking to break into tech sales, you're already changing the job itself. You're moving from being a teacher into being in sales. Rather than going into fintech that you have no experience in, no like interest in, whatever, try moving into education technology. That way, at least you can carry that experience into the new role. And even when you're applying for this new job, it'll put you leaps and bounds above the other candidates because you have a knowledge of the industry. If you're selling to schools and you used to be a teacher, you have information based on your own personal experience that will translate directly into how you're able to sell the product, right? So change one thing, not like three. So if you're a teacher, go into ed tech. If you're a bank teller at a bank, go into fintech. If you're a budding content creator, go into creator technology. Like, you see what I mean? It'll make that transition so much easier, and also in the mind of a hiring manager, it'll make the transition a whole lot clearer rather than like my example before, some random teacher trying to go into like creator technology. Like what? You want to try to make that transition as simple as possible and as easy to picture for your hiring manager as possible. So that's point number one. Number two, adding way too much context in your outreach. So I'm seeing that people are sending LinkedIn messages. I'm seeing that people are sending emails, which is great. But sometimes there's almost too much information in that email. For example, in my role currently as an SDR, something they teach us all the time, or something they talk about all the time, is not making the emails too long. Like, the person should be able to open, I'm recording on my phone right now, so I can't show you, but if you're holding your phone and you open up like the mail app and you have to scroll through the email to get to the rest of it, it's too long. They don't need to know everything about you. They just need to know the most pertinent information, why you're reaching out, for which role, and if you did like a video or you made a portfolio or whatever, they need a link to that. And then your contact information. They need to know that you applied to the role. That's it. It should be no more than like 4 or 5 sentences, the entire email. In most cases, there might be some special circumstances there, but generally speaking, keep it as simple as possible. They already get a ton of cold emails from like people who are SDRs, people who are BDRs. If you are aspiring to the role, make sure that it already looks like you can do the job. That's number 2. Number 3, only reaching out to 1 or 2 people at the company. So This is where a lot of people leave like massive opportunities on the table because granted, I understand why people do it because you want targeted outreach, but you want to try to get as many opportunities to get in front of the right person as possible. That's on the talent team, that's on the recruiting team, and it's on like the hiring team. So instead of just sending a message to the hiring manager, send a message to the VP of sales. If you're applying to a company that has 300 people and there are 10 sales managers, message all of the 10 sales managers. Unless there's like, sometimes they'll put, I'm over the account executive team or I'm over the customer success team. That's a little bit different. But generally speaking, excuse me, if you have reason, like a reasonable amount of information to assume that they could possibly be on the hiring team or that they could be, excuse me, goodness, or they could be the recruiter or talent manager over the role that you're looking for, send them a message, right? The talent team and the recruiting team will be the one that will reach out to you for a recruiter screen. So sometimes they're reaching out to potential candidates to say, hey, we're looking for people for a certain role. Sometimes they're the ones who are sifting through, the 100 resumes, the 200, the 300 resumes that are sitting on the table. So if you do something to make their job a little bit easier where they don't have to search your name in a database of 500 people, reach out to them as well. It's just as easy to find their email, to find their LinkedIn as it is to find the sales manager. And then the other thing as well is even if you don't reach the right person, one, you have a better opportunity of your information being sent to the right person. I'll give you a personal example of this. When I was in my job search, there was a company that some kind of go-to-market software that they were selling, but I reached out to all 12 of the sales managers, and only one of them got back to me. Okay. The one that got back to me was like, hey, I'm not the right person, but I know whose team is hiring. I forwarded the email to him, so he should reach out in just a little bit. And because of your outreach, I want to be your mentor. So now he and I have been in regular contact for the past 2 years. Yeah, going on 2 years now. And he just recently told me, because I reached out to him about another project that I'm working on. And he's like, as soon as you reached out to me about this, I like texted my manager and told him like, hey, there's this girl that I've been mentoring for the past 2 years and she's a great BDR. Like there's a opening on such and such a team. Can we hire her for it? And his manager told him, if she wants the job, she can have it. So he told me, anytime you want to move back to San Francisco, which unfortunately it's an on-site role, but anytime you want to move back to San Francisco, there's a job waiting for you. That's an opportunity that I would not have the job, the potential for a job, as well as the mentorship, as well as the interview that I ended up getting for that position. Those are 3 opportunities that came from messaging as many people as I could. You don't know who's going to be the right person. Even if you don't reach the right person, there are other opportunities that can come from your outreach. It's also just good practice for the job itself. Most of the time, you're not going to be just sending one email to one person. You're going to be sending out multiple emails to multiple people on the team. So that's mistake number 3, only reaching out to 1 or 2 people. Reach out to whoever might be relevant. Worst comes to worst, they ignore the message. There's 0 cost in sending an email like that. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. Mistake number 4 is applying to companies that may not have the ability to train you the way that you need in order for you to be successful in your current role, but also going forward in your career. Okay, so if you already don't have sales experience, and specifically like tech sales experience, where you're doing cold emails, where you might be reaching out on LinkedIn, like that sort of thing, you want to avoid high risk applications. They can always ignore you, right? But if you're doing intentional applications, which I always recommend, the spray and pray works for hardly anybody. That's why you see so many people on LinkedIn talking about how they've done 800 applications in the past 2 months and haven't heard anything back. Okay. So here's the thing. If you are applying to a 10-person startup where you're the founding BDR, it sounds exciting, but it might be a bit of a trap if you're someone who already doesn't have a lot of sales experience. For roles like that, you're going to be putting together the sales process. You're going to be building what they call the outbound motion. So reaching out to companies, you're going to be building kind of that playbook. And if you don't already know what a successful sales process looks like, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay, yourself and this company up for failure. And they're most likely going to be looking for qualifications that you don't necessarily have yet. So for example, most startups, like smaller startups, the pay might be crazy. Okay, your base might be $90,000 for an entry level role, and your OTE might be 150. OTE being your base pay plus your commission might be 150. But you're going to be working like a dog to do that. And in order to get your OTE, you're going to have to produce certain results. You might not know how to do that quite yet. Okay. So you want to try to apply for somewhat established companies with regular like training programs. Some of the ways that you can learn which companies have that are by connecting with other SDRs on LinkedIn. It's going to keep coming around to LinkedIn, y'all. At this point, if you don't know how big of a fan I am, like this is a LinkedIn stan page at this point. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that way you can learn how to do the job while you're doing the job, rather than trying to figure it out and piecing together this process that you don't necessarily know what success looks like yet. And then 5. Okay, this one's a big one. Posting about needing a job instead of showing that you can do the job. Now, this one, I feel like it can be a little sensitive because when you're in dire straits, I get it. But man, okay. Seeing those, I've been job searching for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. I've been trying to break into tech and I haven't been successful at it yet. Getting desperate. Posts, they get sympathy. You might get a ton of compassion. You might get a lot of those commenting for reach comments, but they very rarely actually get you hired. Okay. What you want to be doing, and that's not to say that you can't post that you've been job searching for a little while, but I want you to switch the focus a little bit. So switch from I'm looking for a job to this is what I'm going to do at my next job. Most people who are trying to transition into tech sales are already enrolled in some sort of tech sales like mentorship or like course, right? So it might be Aspireship, it could be Course Careers. I think Higher Levels has one. There's a few of them anyway. As you're going through the course, post about what you're learning. Post about what you're learning about cold calls. Apply what you're learning when you reach out to hiring managers. So cold call some of those managers. Apply some of the email tips that you get in those courses to your outreach, and then post about it. Post how, yeah, I'm learning about focusing on a prospect's pain versus what solution we have. I'm learning about asking qualifying questions so that when I pass on these opportunities to my account executive, they're teed up for success to actually close the deal. Stuff like that is going to get you a lot farther because people can see like, oh, okay, this person is not just like, hey, give me the job. They're showing how they're going to benefit me and the company, and they're also showing that they're teachable. Another good thing you can do is if you're following like sales influencers on LinkedIn, there are so many of them, but if you follow them on LinkedIn, post about something you learned from one of their posts. Comment under their posts. Comments get a ton of visibility right now. And if you have in your bio, aspiring SDR, sales professional, whatever, stuff like that, there will be more people that will look at your profile, and you're more likely to have somebody reach out and say, hey, there's an opening on my team. Do you want to interview for it? Or recruiters reaching out like, hey, my hiring manager said that they're looking for somebody, transitioning into a new career. Do you want to do a recruiter screen? We can get you in the interview process. Does it guarantee you a job? No, but the more applications, the more interview processes you're in, the more likely you are to end up successful in signing that offer letter. Okay? That's the difference between getting a like, getting one of those little support if you're already on LinkedIn. There's only like 5 reactions you can have to a post. It's like, love, support, laugh, and like insightful. And the support emoji is like 2 hands, two purple hands with a heart. That's the difference. Posting that you need a job versus posting that you can do the job is the difference between getting one of those support reactions from somebody versus the inverse, which would be like, getting a job offer after interviewing for a couple weeks. So just a few things to keep in mind. Like I said, are they deal breakers? Probably not. But what I'm noticing is that people who are successful at breaking into tech sales, they're probably not making most of these mistakes. You just don't want to make it harder on yourself. The job market is difficult. There are so many talented people with experience in these industries that are also applying to these like very entry level roles. So don't make it harder on yourself. And hopefully this was helpful. If there's anything else that I can share that might be useful, anything you want me to dive a little bit deeper into, feel free to let me know. And if you don't know, my name is Alexis. I post every single day here on YouTube about all things career and travel and navigating life decisions and becoming adults. Trying to be adults that are authentic to ourselves and also still mindful of other people. So, I hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.